Start streaming. Start streaming. Start recording. So do I do it like that? Hello, YouTube. I think we're live. Oh my God, we're live on Instagram and we're live on Facebook. I started a Facebook group. I'm going to talk to my Instagram people more because Instagram people, you might be my only chance of growth. Oh my God, it's Jen. Jen Forever 111. How are you doing, Jen? I'm streaming. I'm streaming about life and what's going on. And I have a show today. You missed a lot of my show because mostly I did it in 2022. Actually, I'm sorry, 2020. It's hard to live stream and do whatever. But the point is that back in the day, I used to live stream all the time. But I should have been doing it on Instagram the whole time because that's apparently where you got to build your audience. I did everything wrong. So Instagram, Jen, that's your hot tip for the day. Are you still watching? Am I waving at you? I waved at Jennifer Forever 111. And somebody else is here, allegedly. Allegedly. One comment, allegedly. I'm getting there. Sorry, I'm oh, Jesus. So for those of you wondering, I am tweeting, sharing. Oh my God, it's Bree. Hey, Bree. How you doing? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And Twitter. I'm also on Twitter, but I'm not doing a Twitter space. I'm too scared. Twitter's gotten weird. Like, I know we've talked about all this stuff before and like what life is like and everything's getting all weird and crazy. Bree, it's getting worse. It's getting so much worse, which you might have noticed. I actually suspect you have definitely noticed. Like, I don't think we as human beings are getting better. Bree is doing like a D+. That's fair. I'm doing a D-, Bree. It's us. It's us. I'm glad you're passing, okay? I'm glad you're passing. Is a D passing? D's passing. In modern America, a D is passing, everybody. Okay, let's get real. So I'm going to share these links because I'm going to go to another social media network, and it's called Telegram, and I'm going to share them in the Telegram chat. Although my Telegram channel's died for the most part, and that's because that's where my like Q friends hang out mostly. Again, you know, QAnon ain't what it used to be, guys. Ain't what it used to be. So, Bree, what do you want to talk about? Like, I can tell you what my show is today, and then you can let me know how I'm doing on my show. And there was some stuff that I was going to talk to you, Cousin Bree, and Jennifer Forever 111. If you ever want to talk or have any questions, please let me know. Oh, my God, it is Brian. I'm over on Facebook, dude. What you doing? A butterfly fart passes nowadays. I do believe that's true. Okay, I got to sit up. I got to sit up for the Instagram people. I can't slouch. I want to, though. Oh, weird. The cup's going under my nose. But yeah, Bree, anything you want to talk about? There was something that I thought of, man. It was like CNN news. Like there was some news over at CNN, and I was like, man, Bree. Remember we talked about what CNN is? I did like that Don Lemon had to go to like sensitivity training or whatever because he's like, man, all y'all bitches better recognize. And they're like, hey, gay man, mind your P's and Q's. And then it was Black History Month and they're just like, oh, get in your corner, Don Lemon. And he's like, no, please don't be mean to me. And they're like, hacha. I really had to censor that because I'm public. I'm really public. I'm all public facing. You CNN. Scott Adams and Jake Tabor got into it again. Hey, gay black guy, suck it. Yeah. Don Lemon. Did you see any? I did talk about the Scott Adams stuff. I'm going to talk more about the Scott Adams stuff because it's kind of a slow news week. Like we don't have no Chinese balloons. But yeah, Bree, you're my most newsy friend. So any news you want to talk about or newsy stuff, please let me know. Also, I have a request, and Dad, please, Mom, please don't be offended by this. If you guys hear any like really dumb things that Marjorie Taylor Greene says, send them my way. Because I'm becoming awarer of the bubble. Because you're in Facebook jail adjacent. Did you get in trouble? What'd you do? Who'd you yell at? That's what I miss about John. He was always in Facebook jail. He was so good at it. John is one of our friends who is no longer with us. What were we talking about, Bree? What were we talking about? We're talking about the news and news bubbles. Oh yeah, so I was aware of like the news bubbles, and I was aware of how this stuff would drive us crazy and turn us inside out, and we'd all whatever. But even being aware of that gets you into a bubble. So like there's this thing that happens with we'll call it consciousness. So let's say you're going to try to transcend your consciousness, okay? Your ego is going blah, 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 and the chatter in your head's really loud. And you want to, like, transcend it, and you're like, I'm going to get out of the chatter in my head and get connected with one in the planet and the universe. Ka-ching. Okay, so then you get there and you actually get connected with that. So what'll happen is as soon as you get there, what'll happen is your brain's going to turn it into a concept, and then you're going to keep trying to get back there. And the very act of trying to get there is not there. And people will talk about how the act of trying to get there is there, or enlightenment, and they'll use it as a way to shuck their product or whatever it is. So I was aware of what was going on, and being aware of it actually created a new problem for my ego as I was like trapped in it. And I realized that there was a whole bunch of us that wound up like in my pod who all wound up getting trapped. And now we're in these weird little, it's weird, Bree. My whole there is a T-Rex on my shirt. You're correct. It's my version of the black shirt today. I'm going to tell you why I did a show, Bree, and why I'm here. I'll tell you exactly why I'm here. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm here, Bree. Because I was, well, should I finish the thing? Oh, yeah, actually, here it is. So I realized that we're all in bubbles, like everybody's in a bubble, and I realized that I was also in a bubble. And then I realized something that had happened while I got stuck in my bubble is my bubble got nuked. Like the heterodox, independent thinking people of Twitter have just been destroyed. Oh, you're so happy you're here. I'm here. I'm happy I'm here too. I will be here. Bree, I can tell you that here's my plan. And actually, I'll tell you why I'm here. So I'm here because I was talking to Mama Nice. And I was like, hey, Mom, you heard about all the Russia? And she's like, no, what's going on in Russia? I was like, and like the Ukraine and the Bakhmut? And she's like, no, what? And I was like, but you're somebody who watches the news all the time. Why isn't the news talking about how the Ukrainians are losing the war? So I was like, okay, I guess I got to do the show again and let everybody know Ukraine lost. Ukraine lost. I don't know if they lost, but they lost. Like I said a year ago that they'd lose because it was math, because the math didn't work. There was the math, and then the math said no, and then you say, and then I come out, and I'm like, hey guys, the math said no, and people are like, you're a Nazi, and I'm gonna be like, no, the math says they're Nazis. Look at it, seriously, do like a search for Ukraine before 2022, like The Guardian, pick like the most liberal newspaper in the universe, pick The Guardian, and they're gonna talk about what a bunch of Nazis they are, and then it's like, we gotta go, I don't know what we're doing. The Putin. We got to go stop Putin. Help a bunch of Nazis. It's I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, so Jocko Willink basically said what would happen if it went that way, and it went that way, Bree. So that's good. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about like the Scott Adams race stuff because Scott Adams shifted the narrative or adjusted it. And then we have the culture war is a distraction. Yeah, that's all stupid. I don't care if people are wishing each other Merry Christmas at this point. Like, I think actually saying Merry Christmas to each other is a very important thing. I'm a big advocate of, I'm a Merry Christmas maximalist. Like, I say Merry Christmas to everybody. I think the war in Ukraine is a bigger deal. And what they do is they throw us like the red meat of the culture war stuff. Well, like the big stuff is automated and handled, and then that's how we're all like controlled, is because we're arguing whether like, guys can have penises or not. I just lost Facebook. I'm going to see if I can get Facebook back again. Bree, if you're on Facebook, still, YouTube's way better, Bree. YouTube's way better. I'm going to go ahead and share the YouTube link. I've been told by everybody that YouTube's better. Here's that, because, yeah, there you go. Bam, cha-cha-bam, cha-cha-bam, cha-bam, cha-bam, cha-bam. Okay. There we go. There you go, Bree. You can watch me there. I'm nailing everything on the head. Good job. That's great. I'm glad to hear it, Bree. I found my way of the ninja. I actually have, Bree. I'll talk. Well, I'm finding my groove. Stella's getting her groove back, which is good. I actually think I'm early. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more like 2020 crowing a bit, and then we'll move on. So early in 2020, I'm going to say like, March, I was like, oh no, they're shutting everything down. Everybody's going to get drunk and stoned. We should do something instead. And you know what? I am built for this. I am built to be a cheerleader when everything's going to hell. And so then I sat back and I started watching like the way things are going, and I was like, oh, this is so much worse than I thought it was. This is so the pandemic. Anyway, so I was like, man, these people figured out a way to steal all kinds of money, and they ain't letting us go back. And so, and by go back, I mean it's like you had the pre. And Jennifer, if you're still here, it's like the pre-9/11 world and the post-9/11 world. In the post-9/11 world, let's just say, like, you know, it was 9/12, and we're like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't start. Too late, 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 too late. As soon as that happened, boom, there were things that happened, and they can't be unhappened. The Patriot Act, for an example. And so with COVID, it's going to be like, oh, the emergency use of whatever medical blah, 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 tyranny thing. And so they'll just keep doing that. And so I was like, okay, so this is so much worse than I thought it was. Oh my God, this is going to turn everybody inside out. Oh my God, this is turning me inside out. And I find that, Bree, what's happening is I'm coming out of it. Like, I'm coming out of the overstimulated days that happened as a result of... I put it in that article on Tuesday. Did y'all read my article on Wednesday? There's a term... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. Go here, picture in picture... And then we're going to go to YouTube, and we're going to look at, and this is a 3-part series. You don't need to watch the whole 3-part series, but this is actually pretty cool. George Soros lecture on reflexivity. That's it. And so it's really, there's like 4 lectures, I want to say. No, not you, not you, not you, not you. Let's do that.
Thank you very much, and thank you for
personal history, father, alchemy, display, core idea for uncertainty, feedback loops, self-reflexivity, negative feedback, fertile fallacies, human scientific methods, salient features. This is it. I'm pretty sure. So let's take a look at... We're not going to do the whole thing. Is this it? I mean, the guy kind of looks the same in all these pictures. He must only have one suit. No, not you. I already... Oh, it's not you. Here, we're going to go back here. We're going to go... So then we go back, and then we go back.
In the course of my lifetime,
Quiet, you. We're going to do it this way. So we're going to do... Adam Scrabble. Soros lecture. So do it that way. There it is. It's this one.
is enough to...
Oh, I guess that is it. Yeah, that was right there on. So anyway, George Soros lecture series, General Theory of Reflexivity. Give it a watch. And Bree says, don't I wear the same blazer every single broadcast? I have, and I'm shocked, Bree. I've been wearing this for 3 years. I'm wearing this for 3 years because I was trying to get a look. So basically the way you can run a YouTube channel is you can have new clothes every single day, or you just wear the same thing every single day. So I was like, I'll just wear the same blazer and black shirt and just have that be my look. Then maybe I'll be like Steve Jobs or something, but I did it all wrong. I did it all wrong. Bree, I did it all wrong. My show was just so wrong. I was even wrong about this guy. Actually, I know nothing about George Soros, so I can make guesses about George Soros, and I'm not going to be like, oh, he's so terrible. Because I think George Soros and I have a different view of things, and I kind of get his view. I'm going to go back to this view of me over here. So, Bree, anything you want to talk about, let me know. Anybody wants to talk about anything, let me know. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Ukraine. Should we talk about Ukraine? Let's talk about Scott Adams. It's so dumb. Let's talk about Scott Adams. It's got him. Oh my God! Somebody's getting the vitamin D. Oh, so this is something that's been happening on. Actually, let's talk about Twitter first, okay? Because I know none of you guys are on Twitter, and you won't listen to me when I'm like, guys, you need to. Twitter's so important. Please, Twitter. But nobody cares. Bless you, dear. So here's a couple of things that's happening. Number one, the Twitter bots have come back with a vengeance. Like there's so many bot accounts now that it's I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what to say it is. Like there's some major player that has decided to put like a bunch of propaganda bots on Twitter, and it could be a corporation, it could be an NGO, it could be a government, it could be our government, it could be the Chinese government. I don't know who the crap is doing it, but there's just like there's 5 flavors of bots, and they're all demotivationally political. It's trying to get people not interested in politics. So Bree says her dog changes shirts at least twice a week, and I think he has more fans than you and me combined. I believe that. Dogs, like cute animals, and kids are what sells. Like if I wanted to exploit my daughter, I totally could and make a lot of money, but I'm not going to do that because I don't believe in that. And so then what we do is we look over here and we're like, man, Venezuela, 344,000 tweets. That's more than Elon Musk saying the N-word. Which makes me wonder what the hell is going on in peace in Ukraine. Say no to all wars. Answer coalition. March 18th, Washington, D.C. End all wars, including U.S. economic warfare against Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Sanctions kill. I have mixed feelings about Sandwich, to be right now. Bree says, Twitter's just so hard. I've been hitting Reddit pretty hard as of late. Yeah, people really like Reddit. I wish I could. It's just that they're so dweeby. Reddit's it's so douchey. I hate Reddit. I gotta be honest. I don't like Reddit. Man. So it looks like something is happening in Venezuela, and then those bots I was talking about are just pumping out just a ton of propaganda to where I can't tell what's going on, and it's just like there's so much information. Oh, is it rain? Am I supposed to be concerned? Oh, national emergency to respect Venezuela. Is that what's going? Oh, there's a war. Oh, wait, what's going? I can't wait. Why is the Ukraine flag guy? So what is John? What? Why is Russia? What's going? What's the Spanish? I don't. After observing the impact of Washington's illegal unilateral coercive sanctions on Nicaragua, Cuba, Venezuela, Syria, Lebanon, North Korea, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, and Russia, I can say that little divided countries and poor people suffer the most. Rich people make money. Well, Tim Anderson, you're not wrong. Who are you, by the way? You look like a douche. I'm just curious on who this is. A writer, internationalist, academic. Hegemonic comment trolls somebody, and it looks like one of the libs. Just kidding. Anyways, what are you saying? Yeah, my ex-husband is a Reddit head. Unattractive dweebism. Yeah, it is. Like all the poor smart people. All the poor smart people hang out on Twitter. Let's see, and the soulless, and the journalists, and the academics. The smart people are really there's a lot of smart people on Twitter. But what are we talking about, Bree? Oh yeah, we're searching, and so we're like, oh look at that, it's what's Venezuela. There's Eminem who said some. I don't care about Eminem one little bit. Oh no, Portland. So there's like Portland closed a. Hey, what up, Brian Clark? How you doing, man? What up? I'm gonna wave at you. Wave, Brian Clark gets a wave. So yeah, there's like a Walmart closing in Portland. So they're like, hey, Portland, look at the Walmart's closing. 20,000 tweets. Today I learned Stalin's granddaughter is a Buddhist punk who lives in Portland. What? I'm not sure how Stalin would be feeling right now, but I don't really care because it's Stalin. Actually, how would Stalin be feeling about Bakhmut? And he'd be like, oh, let's look. We're not in shock. Let them come. I stand with Ukraine. We're good. I stand with Ukraine more. And Bree loves Eminem. I do not. Here's some crazy footage. Here's some more footage. Georgians in Bakhmut vow to defend the city at all costs. I'm actually looking for, let me see, Mahesh, I agree with you. Patriotic Indian, this is what happens when you let America play dirty games in your country, Bakhmut. Which has just been leveled. The city's been leveled. But what I'm looking for is specifically, there is a map that is going around on Twitter. That's the map I'm looking for. I would like to just point out real quickly. So this guy has been big. It's Scott Ritter. He is a UN weapons inspector. He was the guy who was just like, there's no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And so the Republicans destroyed him. And now he's just like, there's no weapons of mass destruction in Ukraine. And so the Republicans love him, I guess. And that's what's, now he's whatever. Anyways, so he did a space the other, like, he did a live stream where it was just explaining, like, kind of what's going on over there and why it won't work. And so here's our map. And so I'm going to try to make this a little bit better for you, the people watching at home on your screens. Instagram, you don't get no screens. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. And so here's the city of Bakhmut. And then let's go a little bit over here, like Bakhmut, Ukraine map. And so we do that search right there, and then we pull it up, and then we go right here to images, and hopefully like a bigger image, and then we do a view file image, and then maybe that image is big enough. Donetsk. There's a bunch of fighting, and then there's the fight in Kharkov, and and there's Kherson, who's this other stuff, and so there's Crimea, and then that should all be along that river. Chernobyl, Belarus. Here's Kherson reason. I thought Mariupol, Donetsk. Where's Bakhmut? I thought it was like along the river. Okay, let me pull up another map. So we're gonna go Bakhmut, Ukraine. It's not showing it there. Not showing it there. Let's see if I can find it here. View file right here. Treatment of government forces. This is Donetsk. Ezra, that's 15. Kharkov. Like, I know all these names, but I haven't seen any of it. It's done because I don't like. There we go. So it's somewhere in between there. So there's Donetsk and whatever. So Bakhmut is approximately right in here. Okay, so right in here is apparently some fulcrum. I don't know exactly what it is, Bree, to be quite honest. Bree says Walmart is still Walmart. I can get behind there being less of them. I can get behind there being less of something. Anyways, this was Bree, a long story short, you know, you're not a military person, I'm not a military person. This was supposed to be the big stranglehold. So, like, as long as Bakhmut fell, like, this one, held out this one place, it stopped Russia from just coming in to this region and just dominating, like, Kharkov and Donetsk and whatever these other big cities are in this region. And all these forces, like, there's the city, and there's all the Russian forces around the city, and they're losing a lot of people, Bree. Like, this is, so allegedly, this is the worst fighting that has happened this century. So this city is getting nailed by the Russians. They are launching 14,000 artillery shells a day at it. 14,000 artillery shells, like the big thingies. And so our geniuses in the military are like, man, the Russians are going to run out of bullets. I mean, I'm sure we're running out of them, but the Russians haven't. And there was a guy who explained something to me which just made so much sense, which was, so the Russians are just creating tons and tons of artillery, and on our best day, you know, like, we're not on a war footing in the West. Like, we just ain't cranking out those big weapon systems like we're at a war where they're doing 14,000. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like the United States or whatever, and we have all these military weapons and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, we're not cranking out 20,000 shells of something a day, like artillery shells, okay? That's a lot. That's a lot. And so the argument they made was that Russia is able to do this in a way that the United States isn't, or the West isn't. Maybe Germany could do it. And the reason is trade schools. So something that Russia has, like, we have the university system. We used to have the greatest university system in the world. We're destroying it. They actually, I think Georgetown, and this was this week, Bree, permanently got rid of the SATs as a requirement. But that's going to make a lot better CIA analysts and lawyers. But anyways, so we have, like, you know, all our liberal arts colleges, and so we have all our, like, gender studies degrees, and they got plumbers. Okay, so they got plumbers, they got electricians, they got the tradesmen, they got carpenters and that kind of stuff. They've got trained skilled labor. Okay, that's what their country is. It's a bunch of trained skilled labor, whereas we have, you know, I'm a real estate agent, you did, like, medical billing, we're paper pushers. Like, they make stuff, we're paper pushers. And so, you know, we're faced with the decision where, like, a circumstance where, you know, the plumbers and tradesmen are able to make more munitions than the medical billers and real estate agents. And we're not going to be able to catch up with the Russians as far as, like, weapon productions of artillery or this specific kind of 2 years, 3 years. We don't even have the factories to build shells right now, let alone, like, you know, it's chemistry, Bree. Like, that's chemistry. It's not like, you know, you just dump the stuff in the stuff and there you go. It's like you need to know how many grains are going in the canister. You need to know, like, what you want to make the canister out of. You need to know what kind of barrel it's being fired out of. Like, what is the barrel made of? What is the length of the barrel? What is the model of the barrel? What is the tank that the barrel is attached to? What is the temperature that they're going to be fighting in? Like, there's actually all these different things that go into munitions that we don't even, like, consider or think about, and the Russians have. And we've given them a year. So the Russians have had, like, a full year to get their, like, war machine cranking, which is how the Russian war machine works. Like, they drunkenly stumble to the front line and fight for a year, and then they're just kind of at it. And then they get, like, their thing going. Whereas we're like, I think we should send some tanks. And what is the moral of the story? Actually, there's more. Bree's got a comment, and it's blah, 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 blah. Yep, and AI is going to take our writing game over. It is. Bree, man, there's a video that I need to find for you. Let me see if I bookmarked it. I can find it here. There's my bookmarks. Where's my bookmarks? Bookmarks. There we go. Here. The Russian-Ukraine thing, where was I going with that? It's over. The moral of the story is it's over. Like, I don't remember. Their fighting forces have just been smashed into, I'm not going to say nothing, but almost not, like, it's minuscule in comparison to what it was before. I want to say that the Russians now have more soldiers in Ukraine than the Ukrainians do. And it's like their homeland, and all these people were conscripted and forced to fight. And okay, there's some kid who's talking about the train derailment, which was bad. There's something that went viral. There's some stuff that went viral. There's a little sandwich. There's some stuff. 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 Because, man, I gotta find this, Brie, because, like, I might have lost it. Micro has a foundation called Micro Works that is badass, showing you don't need a 4-year college education to make money. Yeah, have you seen my articles on space stuff? I want to call possible BS on a story. There's a story about Katie Hobbs. It's a governor of Arizona elect, or maybe she is the governor, that she's been taking money from the Sonora cartel. And that the Sonora cartel has been running things in Arizona since 2004. That's the kind of thing you're going to want to have more proof of before you run along with it. And you're like, oh, man, I believe this. Because you should. Yeah, no, that's gone. So here's what I'm going to have you, like, hang out with me while I try to search this. Actually, here's some cool AI stuff, because this isn't the stuff of AI art. You might dig it, Brie. So this was every American president, but they're all cool and they sport a mullet. There's Joe Biden. Cool with a mullet. There's Trump, cool with a mullet. I don't think they did Trump that good. Damn, look at that Barack Obama. That's sick, bro. And that looks like the president from Independence Day. The Bill Clinton's pretty sick. That's pretty good. There's George Bush. Look at Reagan. God, that's sick. Jimmy Carter. Brie got too excited. She thought it was Dog the Bounty Hunter. I know, that looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter inspired. And there's Nixon. There's Johnson, that evil bastard. John F. Kennedy. That doesn't really look like him. And Dwight D. Eisenhower. Looks a little weird. It starts getting weirder the further you go back. But, like, that's just an AI art prompt. Actually, I want to say, yeah, there you go. There you go. Look at that badass. There's Theodore Roosevelt. Taft looks pretty boss. But then we're getting like McKinley. It's like, oh my god, it's like the Matrix. And this is getting a little weird. Anyways. Whoa, look at those glasses. Whoa. Grover Cleveland. What era are you living in? Bree hates Bill Clinton. So let's go ahead and leave on Joe Biden. Because let's be honest. Like, this Joe Biden is sick. Like, if that guy was our president, I'd vote for him. Andrew Tate's trending? Oh my god, why is Andrew Tate trending now? Oh, there's allegedly that there's a rumor on, so this is what it is now on Twitter. It's all rumors. So the rumor is that Andrew Tate has cancer. And the real rumor is that Andrew Tate has been drugged with some sort of highly radioactive material. And that he's really sick. And I don't know. Could I see Andrew Tate being the kind of person who's poisoned with plutonium or whatever it is? Yes, 100%. I could absolutely see him being assassinated. But what were we looking for, Bree? We were looking for music AI. And let's see if I can find this kid. Or he did something, and I just gotta tell you, like, it's, man, I got a quick idea, Bree. We're gonna look over here, and again, if you have any comments besides or like any questions or anything you want to talk about, Bree's growing a mullet because she's lazy, people. That's what you're wondering about. Let's go with AI folder. Is where that would have gone into. No, this is all my terrifying stuff. Music. So I searched, what was it that I searched, Bree? Was it music AI? AI music generator. And I got to find that. Why is it all Rick and Morty too? Why is AI music? Just check. Let's just get rid of generator. How about AI makes music? Makes song, maybe? It was a TikTok kid. Like, I would have followed, like, I would have bookmarked it, but I'm not on TikTok. AI makes song. And the reason that I'm looking for this specific example is because it explains everything that I want to explain about this. Blah 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 blah. Maybe videos, Bree. How about that? Because the reason that I want to do it is the kid who did it is a streamer, but he doesn't make music. And that's what's so profound about this. I like that. Oh, I didn't like that one. Let's see. Videos. Bree, I might give this up if I can't find this anytime soon because I feel I'm losing the audience, Bree. AI made song of me. May I made song? Okay, come on. Where you at, kid? Where you at, kid? Where you at, kid? Come on, come on, come on, TikTok kid. Come on, TikTok kid. Okay, Bree. Do I have permission to go ahead and just check out something? And I think maybe it might cover what I want to look at. This is driving me crazy. This one keeps popping up. It sounds like Meghan Trainor has shared snippet from new song. Okay, I don't care about that. I'm just going to see what this top one is. Ah, well. I'll just do AI music. Bree told me to abort, and I agree with her. TikTok. Okay, there we go. TikTok. I'm going to try it. This is my last one. This is my last shooting for it. I lost it. Bree has a funny one. I'm waiting, Bree. I'm holding on. I might let that one play for a second as we're waiting for Bree. Okay, so this was done last month. Update PT2. What happens when you make 100% AI music ChatGPT for the shot list? I guess that's going to be the score. Mid-journey for the scenes. I could believe that. Runaway MI for the set extension and asset fixing. I'm going to say that's going to be what makes it into like a little movie. Cabaret AI for animated video using... Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. And then single part. But here you go. Check it out. I'm showing a song that was written by AI. Inside my head, lay down with me and tell me no lie. Just hold me close, don't patronize, don't patronize. Let's all go home, Bree. It's over. You feel good now? So the video that I wanted to show you guys that I was looking so hard for was this kid who's a TikToker. Let me see. Holderness family. What are we...
Wait, a quarter tank of gas.
Time to start looking for a gas station immediately.
This gas.
I'm over it, Bree. So the video that I was looking for was this kid who wound up making, like, he's a TikToker. He's a big TikToker. He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers on TikToker, and he makes TikToks. And so then what he did is he's just like, hey, AI, make a dance song with some sick beats, and he used like the cool kid terms. So I'm gonna say it's like in the style, like make a Justin Bieber song, but do it with this kid, which was actually the kid's name. And it sounded exactly like him. So the kid was able to make a song that sounded just like a Justin Bieber banger single in 5 minutes using his own voice. And he didn't sing anything or write anything. So like somebody could do in the style of Jacob Robertson of the Corona Cafe. So you'd have to actually find the content. Like I have so much content online that an AI could go search for it and then mimic my voice and make songs out of it. So I guess I'm going to try moving this over to where Brie is. AI writes a love song. Let's see, we'll do a Drake song.
Feeling sick of all the hate. Jokes that come around, I can't relate. Can't take no more of the name they call me. Missions of 6 God, that's blasphemy.
I mean, it didn't exactly get Drake wrong, did it? Brie, I'm going to give this up because I'm just going to keep looking for this damn kid's video and I'm never going to find it. Because Twitter sucks! So let me see. I'm going to try copying this link over here. Command X. We're gonna, no, you quiet. Quiet! No, we're going to go over here, then we're going to go here, and then we're going to V theirs. We're going to...
Oh my gosh, you guys.
We're freaking out over here. We just discovered this thing that basically can write movie scripts, skits, comedy shows.
I hate them. I can't watch this. Damn. I think AI made that song, Brie. Is that correct? You did freaking find it. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know how much better this thing's going to be in 3 months? As it just keeps strip mining all of our data. Like this. So if I may, what pisses me off about all of this is like Amy's been putting like a selfie on the internet every single day for 20 years and like all these different posts. Like all those selfies and posts that Amy's done are now being strip mined to sell Amy back to her. And that's all of us. And so all of our data is being used to build a freaking, like, put us out of jobs. It's so outrageous and nobody gives a shit. Help me build my Substack, Brie. Help me. I need help. I need people to share it. Like, I look at my growth and it's pretty sad. It's growing, but it's like, man, is it a slog. Like, it was so much easier to get famous and popular in 2020 before, like, a bunch of people ruined everything in January. Yeah, Amy's awesome. Amy's great, people. We love Amy. We're a big fan of Amy. We're Amy maximalists. I'm not quite an Amy maximalist. I'm pretty pro Amy, though. I'm definitely in the pro Amy club. But let's go ahead and look at some other stuff. We got Scott Adams and the race stuff. Scott Adams and some race stuff. Scott Adams. So Scott Adams pissed off everybody so much that he started like trending on Twitter, like in a big way. Like he was the trending thing on Twitter. And so if we're going to sum up the... And I was going to grift off of this stuff all week, and then my kid got sick, so I couldn't even get my grift on. I was just like, oh my god, I have to freaking write stuff. I actually did figure out my grift, though, about guys. It's going to be space-based solar. Like, that's the moneymaker. Brie will help. She's been off since, like, the end of... That was my mom's birthday. And that makes sense, Bree. You've been dealing with a lot and keep dealing with a lot. I don't know, hang out. You guys didn't have like the thing. You didn't have the thing to where all of us get together and do the thing. So I feel like we're sort of in purgatory. Just waiting to see what happens next. And there's some sort of vibration. Maybe my neighbors are playing rap music. I don't know. Anyways, so Scott Adams did some like race stuff. So Scott Adams, I talked about it last episode, which was he basically said, get, like, you know, if you're white, get the hell away from black people. And so he summarized the whole controversy as, I've been asked to summarize my current situation, so you don't need to watch hours of live stream to understand the nuance. Summary: me, avoid people who've been primed by the media to be racist against you. Media, racist. Public, cancel him. The end. Which basically really sums it all up, to be quite honest. Like, that's my thing. I actually had a pretty good, I had some pretty good insights and stuff that I wanted to communicate in regards to like the Scott Adams race conversation, but I just kind of quit caring. Like, I just don't give a crap anymore because it largely doesn't affect me. Like, you know, Bree and I, where's the race war going to start in Western Washington? I mean, it's, oh, look, the white people are mad at the white people again. Uh-oh. Like, maybe in Seattle or Portland, yeah, sure, but not in, like, Camino, Bellingham. We might have some people on fentanyl, but, you know, so anyways, but let's talk about the Scott Adams thing. So really what the Scott Adams thing is about is, actually I did have the thing that I wanted to talk about, and this was going to be a preview for Emily and Ray Ray, because I was chatting with them a little bit. Bree is just so sick of racism. I am, but I'm also like, sure. Scott Adams did a timeline thing, and, you know, I don't know. Like, I've just seen it coming. I've seen it coming for a long time. You and I remember what it was like, you know, in the late 90s. And it's like, you know, I think we're in a good place in the early 2000s. We're like, you know, I think we're actually past all this. No, racism's back. Racism's back. And it came back in a big way because a whole bunch of race grifters made money off of it. And 9/11 happened. So between 9/11 and the race grifters, everybody became racist. And the internet, let's be honest, the internet's making people racist, so that's something too. Dang, I just lost it again. I had a really good point about this one, Bree. You're like, I'm so sick of racism. What was it? Scott Adams said his thing. Yeah, I don't know. I lost it. I lost it in the chat. Which is why I ignore the chat sometimes. Because then that way I can just go back to my, like, doing whatever thing. That's me doing the thing that I was doing before I was doing the thing. Oh, yeah, that's actually it. So I'm sorry. I am back. It's a really good point. I think, so based off of what I was listening to from Scott Adams, because, like, there's something going on. Like, if I'll be honest, there's cabals. Like, there's cabals of people, and part of the reason I recommend getting on Twitter is because you can watch the cabal in action. Like, if you can get, like, a good enough filter for, like, what the bots are saying, you can look for the people that are actually, like, adjacent to the bots, which are also connected to, like, some PR firm or some industry. So it's like, are they connected to the pharmaceutical companies? Are they connected to, like, the mining industry? Are they connected to, like, the oil industry? You know, liquid natural gas, or, like, you know, the defense contractors. And so you can get, like, ideas of the hives of conversations. And one of the hives is talking about how they are going to get rid of the Civil Rights Act. So my prediction is in the next 2 to 5 year, let's just say less than 10. How about we call it less than 10? Is that fair? The Civil Rights Act is going to be repealed in the United States of America. For all kinds of reasons, but it's going to be gone. They're going to get rid of it. There's actually two biggest reasons. The biggest reasons are, number one, it was too sweeping. Like, you know, it made, like, the amount of power that was given to the federal government was far too sweeping. They were trying to deal with a problem in the South and then applied it over to a state like California, which, you know, didn't even exist during the Civil War. And then it's trying to correct for slavery, and now it's in a point where they want to give people reparations to the tune of like $50,000 or $70,000 or $170,000 or whatever it is that Gavin Newsom thinks will make him the next president. and he doesn't ever have to pay for. So yeah, it's going to get gotten rid of. And part of it's, the other part's just like, we're bringing, the Biden administration's bringing 2 million people across the border every year. Okay. 2 million people are coming to this country every year. And that's illegally. That's not including the, million people who come to the United States legally every single year. So 12 million, 3 million people a year. Forget it. Like, are these new citizens, are they going to pay for, like, are you going to be able to make a case that, like, these people are suffering from the legacy of slavery or white supremacy? They're not going to pay for it. The point is, like, all these new immigrants, they're not going to pay for any of this stuff. They're not going to give a crap about it. They don't have any history to it. They don't have any attachment to it whatsoever. Which is actually, like, a big point that I made a long time ago, which was, like, how all the Black Lives Matter stuff and, like, all this stuff that was happening in 2020 was going to screw black kids. And it is. It's screwing them so bad. It's screwing him so badly, like with all the, like, I'm sure you've seen the videos, and I might have talked about this last week, but all the freaking videos on social media it's like, well, specifically, there's lots of fights on social media, but specifically, like, black kids beating up white kids. There's, like, so many of these freaking videos that, like, it's just going to make everybody racist. It's making people even more racist. Like, there's some sort of something in the algorithm that is just making people more and more racist, and it's deliberate, and I think it's designed to, I think really what's happening is getting black people and white people to fight each other while our entire country gets changed underneath our feet. And so while, like, we're busy fighting each other and we're all fighting and arguing, all of a sudden somebody bought up all the land. What's going on? It's like, the Cherokee fighting the Comanche, and then wait a second, who's these white guys here? Sort of like that. Except this time, we's the Indians. We's the Indians too, Bree, you and me. So I'm going to read some of Bree's comments. I feel lied to by everyone and everything all the time. And she pays attention. She does. Do I lie to you, Bree? Do I? I would like to say that I am the host of Jacob News. I don't lie to you, and nobody watches me because of it. Like, do you remember when all the Q people used to watch, and then I'd be like, this stuff's retarded, and then they all got mad at me and stopped watching for a week? And then there was, like, the new Q thing, and then they're like, oh my god, Jacob, did you hear it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, okay, guys. And so then I'm like, I'm forced to, like, do I do the grift? Do I do the grift, Bree? Do I grift so everybody will watch my next episode, and they'll be like, man, I love how Jacob says that whatever it is that I like, and I'm going to just keep watching him and give him money, and then I have, like, this sort of weird perverse incentive to just keep taking money. I don't know. I don't actually have much of, like, stuff. Actually, I do. Oh, Jesus. So here it is. Like, here's more of it. And actually, I'm gonna get to your comment in just a second, because here's something. Like, here's Andy No, and for those of you who know who Andy No is, he's a guy he's just one of these, like, he's a race baiter. And he has been. It's like he's a Portland race baiter, and has been reporting about Antifa and whatever. And, I think they're bad guys, but I think they're also overblown. Like, the commies, I think, are overblown. I think there's a lot of people who are just, like, they're problems, but, like, we do a magnifying lens on them. If you, like, want to compare, Antifa to the Sonola cartel, I bet the cartel's worse. I bet it's a lot worse. Anyway, so here's something. City of Springfield, Ohio released surveillance footage of the elementary school incident from February 10, where white students were held hostage and assaulted on a playground by black students who wanted to force them to pledge allegiance to Black Lives Matter. That's not exactly helping. And so here's Scott Adams saying, making things worse, racist social media algorithms are suppressing the videos of Asian Americans and white kids beating up black people. That makes the problem appear one-sided, which then people are going to jump in and they're going to say, that's not happening. And it's like, can we see that? Let's look at the statistics. Ha ha ha. And so, like, Scott Adams is doing, like, a big, like, Beatty thingy, which is like, okay, so there aren't those videos. Like, those videos do, like, the reason that Scott Adams can't find those videos is because those videos don't exist. Which is just going to feed into the conservative narrative, and it's going to have people fighting more and more and more. When the fact, I'm just going to read Bree's comments. Hey, I don't think anything would make me a racist. I'm too lazy to change. Yeah, I would say that, except it's not true. Like, I've watched enough of these videos, and then, like, so I see the video, and then my reticular activator kicks in. Hey, Joel Burns. Joel, pleasure to meet you. Hi. I'm talking about some newsy stuff, and I'm going to go soon. And I'm also just kind of practicing on Instagram, so... Goodbye, Joel. She was here, now she's gone, but she still gets a wave. It's not hard to get those racist triggers tripped. Like, I think one of the saving graces for us, Bree, is we're too lazy to be really racist. Like, the amount of energy it would take, it'd be like, wait a second, you mean I have to change my shoes? Let's go get Mama a pack of cigarettes. But let's also talk about some more course correction stuff, and then I'm going to go, because Honey Bear is going to go get, a little truffle nugget, and I'm going to go to Costco and buy some stuff. So the New York Times and trans stuff. So the trans argument's about to shift. Let me see. NYT trans. And I bet this will populate. Boycott New York Times transphobia. There we go. So, the, far-right paper, the New York Times. This is going to be really... author who signed the New York Times trans letter, death threat to J.K. Rowling. What? What is that man saying about J.K. Rowling? I guess I could just go to Jesse Singal. So, Bree, I would actually, if you want to follow some interesting people, I would recommend Jesse Singal. And then, God, what is the other one? It's Katie Herzog. They have a podcast, and I think is it the Blocked and Reported podcast? Yeah, that is. Let me see. Yeah, Blocked and Reported with Katie Herzog and Jesse Singal. And so, long story short, is she was a trans boy, and he was a trans girl, but he decided that he was just gay, and she decided she was just a girl. And she's a lesbian and he's gay. And so what they did is they detransitioned, and then they decided to share their detransition stuff with the Blocked and Reported podcast. And these are two of the big trans experts. If you're really interested in digging into their stuff in the podcast, and their stuff's pretty it's pretty detailed. I'm not really big and versed into the argument, but if you want to understand what's going on in that community or the news in that community, I'd follow their Twitter. So a very long story short, what happened is the New York Times wrote some post, and I'm just going to get rid of all this Twitter stuff in the background because I didn't make good shows. And I'm sorry, Brie, I don't have good shows today. But the New York Times did some article that said, whoa, maybe we should pump the brakes on the trans stuff just a little bit. Maybe we pushed too far. Maybe we should slow down. Maybe we should take a deeper look at this stuff. And then a whole bunch of trans activists came after the New York Times and were like, "Oh, you guys are so hateful and terrible and blah blah blah. How could the New York Times possibly do something so transphobic and hateful?" And then a whole bunch of detransition activists were like, "Show us where the New York Times touched you. Show us where all the bad stuff in the New York Times." And then they just got mad for people asking them where it showed it, and they didn't. The New York Times just reported on a bunch of facts and stats, and what happened is the largest transgender or trans facility, whatever you want to call it, in the UK got shut down. It's getting sued by 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It's a giant class action lawsuit. It was the biggest trans clinic in the world, and it got shut down because of them just railroading people through this stuff. Bree hates that the news can no longer be the news, so I'm going to do some news stuff for you where it's I don't have a problem with trans people. I do have a problem with taking teenagers and pumping them full of drugs and then cutting their genitals off, though. I think that's a bad idea. I read one that blew my mind. Did you know there's a problem with guys who become girls? So it's the guy to girl transition where they cut your junk off and they give you a hole. Apparently what happens is that the taint bacteria gets into your front hole. Not your vagina, because the vagina has things to take care of it, but in your hole, and then the bacteria grows there, and it smells like a butt. Your crotch smells like butt all the time, and it can't be unbutted. And then with like girls to do the surgery, like have you seen where they just graft the skin? Like they just cut all of this muscle and nerves off of the skin, and then they put it like right there as like some little like twitching finger. So maybe we should have a conversation about this stuff. Maybe we should have a conversation that like the transitioning stuff isn't actually transitioning, or like that these people have to sit down peeing for the rest of their lives, or like all these other stuff. But no, you're trans exclusionary. And so that's just how much, like, really what I wanted to get is I think 2023 is where you really you're going to see the pendulum just start swinging way back to the right, and the overcorrection is just going to be monumental. And you can already see it with, like, there's, like, and actually the problem is that the momentum's coming this way, but it's just being, like, deflected into a million different directions with, like, the GOP civil war, the conservative civil war that's happening right now, where it's just deliberately being shattered into a bunch of factions, which is actually going to be worse in the long run for everybody, because, like, you won't be able to deal with a completely decentralized swarm that's all pushing in the same direction like you would with a centralized swarm. But nobody wants to listen to me. And so Bree goes back to, I hate how the news can no longer be the news. I understand that, Bree. And you know what? I got to be honest. I'm not sure it ever was. Like, it certainly hasn't been the news since Donald Trump's been president. I mean, he never called white supremacists fine people. That never happened. But then there's also, like, you know, the build up to the war in Iraq. Oh, we're going to the New York Times again. Oh, they lied about weapons of mass destruction. Oh, the media. Oh, well, let's go back to the Soviet Union. Oh, they lied about how all the people were being killed by Stalin. Oh, and they lied about the Nazis. Oh, and they lied about the things. Oh, did you know that there was a Nazi who was in head of, like, the NASA program and the Apollo program, and a Nazi is the one who got us to the moon? Did you know that? Here, let me show you. I'm going to get you receipts right now. I'm just going to go right here. We're going to picture in picture, and we're going to go up here real quick. We're not even going to worry about Twitter no more, and we're going to be like, Nazi who headed NASA. And then, oh, the Werner von Braun. There we go. Werner von Braun. There he is, the Nazi. Yep. So, like, we have principles, my ass. The good thing, actually, Brie, what I'm going to say, the good thing is that we can't get the news. I was actually thinking about this, and I want to say it was a shower this morning, or somewhere. I was thinking about Rush Limbaugh and where Rush Limbaugh came, and because people love to complain about Rush Limbaugh, and they're like, oh, Rush Limbaugh was so terrible, and he made news bad. Him and Newt Gingrich did. You could say lower the bar. But before that, people used to believe interviews. Like, they didn't know that, you know, interviews were cut and rearranged to make it look like people didn't say things before that. I would say Rush Limbaugh was a response to that. And so now we have a thing where, like, you have all these people calling each other out. And I think you can actually get to the news, Brie, but you got to, like, you got to dig between. You actually, let me rephrase that, Brie. That's why I'm doing this damn show. Like, I'm going to do it once a week where I come in and say, hey, everybody, I think this is what the news was this week. Because they're just lying to you. And I have enough voices in, like, liberal and conservative spheres. Like, I've worked to deal with, like, my own, like, there's certain biases that I have, and there's people who just grate on my freaking nerves, but, like, if I ignore them, then there's stories that I just don't hear. There's, like, a good 25% of the news that I don't hear by ignoring these people I can't stand. And so I need to follow them anyways. And so I'll come back and be like, hey, guys, this is what's going on. So the next time there's a Ukraine grift, I'll be like, hey, guys, this is the latest grift that they're going to use to steal money from you. Go hang out with your friends and family and meditate. Let me see. Bree says, overcompensating is happening because people react to headlines and have no patience to actually understand any issue. We're flat on our face. Yeah, and that's like, I'm not going to say that's people's problem, Bree. I'm going to say that the problem is this. Like, it's this. Like, this is how we've been rewired and conditioned. It's just like, we scroll for information. And so, like, and then we sort the information. So it's like, I have an idea on what the news is, and I agree with that. I disagree with that. I only follow what I agree with. I just don't follow what I disagree with. And so the overcompensating thing goes to, like, this is when I was talking to you about pride, how gay pride was anti-gay pride. counterproductive. I'll put it that way. Like, are you watching all the trans, like, not the trans, but the drag queen story hour stuff and all the stuff that's getting banned in the, like, the states and the everything? So every time somebody comes out and makes some sort of, like, outrageous video that offends people on the internet, it's getting the conservatives pissed off. And the conservatives have had, like, mud just thrown in their eyes for, like, 7 years, and I think they're over it. And so you're going to see more of these. But I'm serious. Like, this will lead, like, where we're headed is the Civil Rights Act will be gone. Like, the Supreme Court's getting rid of it. And then you're going to have more of this kind of crap. And, like, and nobody will understand, and everybody will just keep reacting and fighting over this stuff, and they'll just keep fighting and throwing crap at each other until, like, maybe 2 or 3 years from now. And it's going to take that long. It's going to be 2 or 3 years from now. People are going to just sort of, like, wake up and just be like, what the F happened? What happened? What happened to us? What happened to society? What happened to my school? What happened? What is going on here? And they'll wake up, but they won't, like, it'll be so far removed that we won't remember how to put anything back together. And we'll just kind of suck it up. We'll just be like, oh, yeah, made all kinds of, okay. And then the reckoning happens, and that's not good for anybody. So that's basically what I got for my show, Bree. I don't got any more. I hope you were entertained. That's all I can hope for, Bree. I hope you were entertained. And I can see if, like, my lovely wife said something. Oh, she did. Oh, she's getting little nuggets. She's getting some nuggets, and then I'm going to go home or, like, go hang out with Nuggets. Anthony, I will be beaching it in Guatemala. You guys can come visit. When are you going to Guatemala? Or is it, like, that's where you're going to go when everything goes to hell? Because I still plan on staying here for a while. Although I could go down to Central South America. That's an interesting point. You're so happy to see me. Come on, I'm glad. Thank you, Brie. I'm glad. I'm glad to be here for you. I'm going to leave you with this important message. If you have an important message you want to go viral, don't use nuance. Punch them right in the face. Anyways. All right, I'm going to go, Brie. I'm going to go. That is our getaway plan. That's a good getaway plan. I'm going to go. I got to go. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I love